The greatest spectacle in sprint car racing delivers again. How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elson, and this is Midco Motorsports. Donnie Schatz surprised no one last August when he claimed his 10th Knoxville Nationals title in 12 years. Wednesday, Schatz, yet again the prohibitive favorite, began his quest for number 11. A couple of Pennsylvania natives led the first qualifying A-main to green, and it's the 27 of Greg Hodnett surging past pole setter Brock Zierfoss as they sprint down the back chute. Zierfoss would fall back again after a lap 11 restart. 2010 Nationals champ Tim Schaefer overtakes him for second. 3 laps later, another restart. NASCAR's Kyle Larson challenging 16-year-old Gio Scelzi for third, and he gets it. That's where Larson would finish. To the white flag now, Schaefer making a late bid for the lead, but Hodnett having none of it. He hangs on for his first win at Knoxville Raceway since 1994. Hodnett, along with Schaefer, Larson, Scelzi, and 5th place finisher Donnie Schatz, would all secure spots in Saturday's big show. Grand Forks native Mark Dobmeyer was up front for Thursday's qualifier, but this would be a one-horse race. Brad Sweet picked off all 5 guys in front of him before the end of lap 1, and after that, everyone else was racing for second. Sweet, who also won Sunday's Capitani Classic, goes wire to wire for his 3rd career Knoxville victory. That was enough to lock him into the pole position for Saturday's 50-lap finale. Chad Kemena, Carson Macedo, Tim Kading, and Terry McCarl among those that also secured spots. Drivers would get another chance to qualify Friday during what's become known as Hard Knocks Night. Logan Schuchart looking for redemption after getting DQ'd Wednesday, and he'd find it. Schuchart wins a spirited battle with Brian Brown to secure his spot in the big show, while Brown, Paul McMahon, and Sioux Falls native Matt Jewell also qualified. The final golden ticket would go to the winner of the Speed Sport World Challenge. Fast forward to lap 8, Dominic Scelzi slides past Brooke Tatnell for the lead, while James McFadden takes a different line to move into second. Things get worse for Tatnell the next time around. He gets over the cushion in turn 2, and that officially ends his bid for the win. Tatnell finished 8th. When racing resumed, it was all Scelzi. The California native clinches the 25th starting spot for Saturday's A-main by way of his first career Knoxville victory. So it all came down to this: 50 laps for $150K in front of the first sellout crowd in over 10 years. Brad Sweet looking to cap off what was already an outstanding week, and the 49 sets a torrid pace at the drop of the green flag. The battle for second was the real show over the first half of the race. Donnie Schatz and Kyle Larson traded the spot several times, with Larson eventually winning the fight. The first lead change came on lap 27. Sweet misses his mark. That allows Larson to take control for the next 2 circuits. Sweet didn't back down, though. He repays Larson right here to get back to the front. To the white flag now. Schatz up to second and looking to steal the win, but Sweet just fast enough. He holds on to win by 0.133 seconds, which was the second closest finish in Knoxville Nationals history.
I wasn't sure if I wanted that caution or didn't. You know, Donnie breathing down my throat, I told myself I better hit these two laps on the bottom perfect. And they weren't perfect, but they were good enough to get the win. It's unbelievable. I just want to cry and faint and hug and kiss and drink lots of beer.
That's what we're going to do right now. Race fans, give it up for Brad Sweet!
Congrats to Brad Sweet. Here's a look at how some of our local drivers finished. Clint Garner's run came to an end in the C main, while Mark Dobmeyer and Skylar Prohaska finished up in the B. Matt Jewell was at the top of the heap in terms of regional racers. Here's what he had to say about making the big dance for the first time.
It's a big accomplishment for our team, and we know we can do it, and we got her done this year. And you know, it's fun, you know, going to a press conference and the drivers meeting. You know, you get to walk down a red carpet and get a meeting and sit with all those, you know, the guys that have done this before. There's very few that this is the first time this year. So, and then being able to pull up in the front stretch and get introduced in front of all the crowd, and it was an awesome experience. So hopefully it won't be the last time.
What a weekend. For more on the finish, Here are Midco SN's Brian Shawn and Chris Shirek.
Here to wrap up the 58th annual 5-Hour Energy Knoxville Nationals with a former Knoxville Nationals competitor and our Midco SN racing analyst, Chris Shirek. And Chris, 4 tremendous days of racing. Weather was beautiful. We saw a lot of passing all 4 nights, and ultimately I think the guys at the front of the pack were the best all week.
They really were. Your top 3, you know, Brad Sweet, Donnie Schatz, Kyle Larson, they were the fastest guys all week long. If anyone was going to win, it was going to be one of those 3 guys.
It comes down to the last couple of laps. Kerry Madsen ends up flipping. The track was getting a little tricky late in the race. You know, you're talking about 50 laps, 48 laps in. It came down to a drag race less than a second for the championship, and Brad Sweet able to get his first ever Knoxville Nationals victory.
Yeah, and the top was pretty tricky. He had a big old cushion. It was about a foot tall, and you saw a couple cars crash. Rico Abreu crashed, hit the cushion wrong. You know, Kerry Madsen crashed, hit the cushion wrong. Same spot, and that's really where Donnie Schatz had the momentum, but you just, you know, couldn't get it done. Brad Sweet was really good on the bottom.
It was amazing how Schatz was battling with Kyle Larson, another guy that was also in the mix. When you look locally too, Chris, Matt Jewell making his first ever A-Main from T South Dakota, runs here regularly, getting better and better on this track. Mark Dobmeyer did struggle a little bit moving up, started 6th in the B, but 2 local guys that are always kind of a threat here to at least, you know, make the name for themselves on this particular surface.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's something to be said about the local talent here. There's a lot of local drivers that made it. There's a lot of local drivers that were very close to making it. Dobmeyer's won, you know, prelim night here before. Matt Jewell's won a feature here, you know, earlier this year. So it's very cool to see local drivers doing as well as they have tonight.
Well, certainly it was. It was a lot of fun to watch all night long. What are your parting thoughts? What do you take away from this Knoxville Nationals? You've raced in this event. This was pretty special, though. It really was very, very even all week long.
Yes, it's just being here. It's the, you know, the Super Bowl of sprint car racing. This is what everybody wants to do. Brad Sweet is one of 58, you know, not 58 drivers, but one of a handful of guys that say that they won. It's a very special meaning. This is it. This is the Super Bowl, man.
And not only did we get a chance to enjoy the races, we got a chance to have a little fun ourselves out at Slideways. Chris and I going side by side in cars. And who came out on top in that victory?
You know, let's no comment on that one. Yeah.
You're going to blame the equipment, right?
Oh, absolutely. You got to blame something else.
It was a lot of fun here at Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, he may make his living in NASCAR, but Kyle Larson's passion for dirt track racing is second to none. We'll have more with one of the sport's newest superstars when we come back. Kyle Larson has found fame and fortune on the NASCAR Cup Series. But when asked last week what win number 1 on his racing bucket list would be, he answered without hesitation, the Knoxville Nationals. Midco SN's Brian Shawn caught up with the young superstar last week to learn more about his passion for dirt track racing.
We are here with Kyle Larson, also known as Young Money, who will race anything, anywhere, at any time, and there's no doubt about that. He races at Watkins Glen, almost posts the top 5. The next night he wins at Oskaloosa in 20,000, and now he's driving a go-kart where it all started. You just love this stuff, don't you?
Yeah, it's just a good time to, you know, get back and just enjoy it. You know, this is, you know, not what I really got started. Different types of go-karts, but it's still fun to come out here and mix up with the race fans. You know, help benefit the Tony Stewart Foundation. So Tony does a lot for all sorts of charities and fans and all that. So it's just good to be a part of it and have a good time with it all.
You know, you've really stayed to your roots, Kyle, and you love racing dirt tracks. You see that anytime you get an opportunity to do it. What draws you back to sprint cars so much?
I just enjoy, you know, the atmosphere around sprint car racing and how much fun the cars are to drive, the competition throughout the country. You know, you can go race anywhere throughout the United States and, you know, it's tough to win. So I enjoy that. But yeah, I don't know, it's what I got my start in, so that's probably the main reason why I like getting back to run it.
Do you ever get tired with all the races you run? You go night to night to night to night to night, but it doesn't seem to phase you.
No, I don't get too tired. I would race every day if I could. You know, I mean, there's moments when you're struggling, you know, where it might get, you know, start to wear on you. But you know, I'm thankful to run for some really good car owners. So we're usually mixing it up for the win.
And you love to compete, even out here in a go-kart. You still want to win. You're bouncing it off the walls and everything else.
Yeah. Slideway is always fun. You know, they have a cool little venue here. slick, with some baby powder out there, and you can find some speed up by the wall. So that's where everybody knows I like to run. So just having a good time with it.
Last question for you. How much do you enjoy Knoxville in particular? This seems to be one week that you just love spending every day you can here.
Yeah, this is my most favorite week of the year. This and Chili Bowl are probably the two that are a lot of fun. But Knoxville, for some reason, to me is the best. So they have, I think it's like 10 days straight of racing within this area, and all your friends and stuff that you don't get to see all the time are here. So it's just nice central get together for everybody. So racing's good, the atmosphere is good, and I just enjoy it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck of the rest of the season, no matter what you're driving.
Yeah, thanks.
That's Kyle Larson here joining us on Midco Motorsports.
All right, thanks, Brian. Well, before we officially wrap up our coverage from Knoxville, we've got one other fun story to share. On Thursday, 15-year-old Watertown, South Dakota native Tommy Nichols celebrated his own big victory, becoming the first non-celebrity to win the annual Weld Racing Go-Kart Spectacular at Slideways Karting Center. Nichols bested a bunch of big names on his way to victory lane, but all the talk afterward was about how he got past three-time NASCAR champ and family friend Tony Stewart.
It was pretty cool. I actually kind of moved Tony a little bit. It was just a racing deal, but we had fun, and I guess it's pretty cool. I guess I never realized that until it was done and over with, but I'll take it, I guess.
Yep, just one of those racing deals. Good stuff, and congrats to Tommy Nichols. All right, stay tuned. Money and Modifieds go hand in hand at Red River Valley. Highlights and post-race reactions from night one of the Sanders Modified Tour after this. Since it began in 2012, the Sanders Modified Challenge has known a handful of different formats. At its biggest, it was a full-blown 4-race tour. This year, it would be half that, although the payout was anything but condensed. A top prize of $1,300 was up for grabs Wednesday as they kick things off at Red River Valley. Start with the Sport Mods. 27 cars would start the race, although nearly half of them would not finish. Dan Dowling has been on a tear lately. 3 feature wins in his last 5 events and off to another good start in this one. He gets by the 22 of Vince Jetvig for the lead, just 4 laps in. 11 to go now, already on the 3rd restart, and another group of cars get all jumbled up. Caution number 4 proved to be bad news for Dowling as Scott Jacobson steals the lead away. Jacobson's stay at the front would be even shorter. 2 laps later, Luke Johnson goes outside to make the first place pass. Closing it out would be anything but easy, though. Johnson forced to endure 3 more restarts, but he got the job done. He ends a nearly 2-month drought at Red River Valley. That brought us to the night's main attraction, 29 A-Mods gunning for that 4-figure top prize. Billy Kendall III had the pull, but he'd be feeling the pressure almost immediately from the 1 TPO of Tyler Peterson, although his momentum would get slowed when the caution came out for Rob Van Mill. Peterson gets right back to it after the restart, and he eventually does complete the pass with a little slider between turns 1 and 2. From that point forward, it was all Peterson. His first win at Red River Valley since June 22nd would be a big one as he takes night 1 of the Sanders Modified Challenge. Friday, the focus shifted to Grand Forks. Lance Schill, of course, been having a heck of a season. He came into the night leading the national points in the Wissota Midwest Modifieds, and he would add to it. Schill started 8th for this one, but a few laps in, that magnet pulls him to the front yet again. The 6 of Nate Reynolds was the final hurdle on this night as Schill rolls to his 5th win of the year at RCS. Brad Tseng is traditionally a victory lane regular in Grand Forks, although he had yet to find it this season. Off to a great start in this one, Tseng surging up 4 spots within the first couple of laps. He's trying to catch Jeff Hapila, and the 16 helps his cause. Tseng capitalizes on the bobble to become the new front runner, and that would be the only lead change of the race. Tseng rides it out to get that elusive first win of 2018. Wade Nygaard has been getting them a lot here recently with an OSA Sprints, and he'd enjoy another solid run Friday. Early on, Nygaard follows Ty Hanton's lead, sliding past Brendan Mullen for second. A few laps later, Austin Pierce attempts to give Nygaard a dose of his own medicine. Didn't work out for the 2A though, and the caution comes out instead. When they got back to green, persistence pays off for the 9N. After a couple of failed attempts, Nygaard picks off Hanton in turn 4, and he would run away with it from there. Nygaard notches his third win at River Cities. Brown County Speedway crowned its 2018 champions last week. Find out which drivers took home a share of the hardware when Midco Motorsports rolls on. Well, it may be hard to believe, but championship season is already upon us. Friday, Brown County Speedway in Aberdeen became one of the first regional racetracks to crown its 2018 champions. The Midwest Modifieds had the tightest race coming into the night with just 9 points separating the top 2 drivers. Brennan Wade out of Lemoore, North Dakota would have to catch Tony Konold in the standings, and that's him in the 28. Lap 3, Wade drives by William Hine on the inside to take over the lead. But the key moment of this one would come at a restart with 7 to go. Konold pilots the 15 car around Lauren Johnson for second, and that would seal the deal for him. Konold follows Wade across the finish line, but it was good enough to clinch the track title. Nothing like a fantastic finish to end the night, and that's exactly what the late models provided. Lap 2, Huron's David McDonald finds some speed out of turn 2, and that helps him dart past pole setter Denver Nixon. The 52X had full control for the next 20-plus laps, but his lead would vanish with 2 to go. McDonald forced to slow in traffic, and that opens the door for the legend Kent Arment. The Aberdeen native, who also won Friday's A-Mod feature, goes on to complete the sweep and put the finishing touches on yet another season championship.
We race here weekly for about 25 years, so it's always a good time, especially if it's a good race. And Dave and I went side by side there for quite a while, and especially with Mustang Seeds sponsoring the night, we sure had a good time doing it and put on a heck of a show.
If speed is your thing, then you may want to try this the next time you're in Sin City. We'll get an up-close look at the NASCAR Racing Experience next. When you watch a NASCAR race on television with drivers flying around super speedways, it's tough not to wonder what it would be like to drive one yourself. Well, as it turns out, there's a place where you can actually get a taste of it. Midco SN's Brian Shawn has more on his own NASCAR racing experience.
Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a 1.5-mile oval featuring a 20-degree banking where NASCAR's elite can reach speeds over 200 miles per hour. It's also one of 18 tracks nationwide to offer the NASCAR racing experience, where fans and enthusiasts can get behind the wheel of a real race car, straight from a NASCAR team. After checking in at the track, first things first, gearing up. Next, a driver's meeting, where you learn the rules, directions, and safety information. Following a quick walk to pit road, one more chance to chat with our instructor Dana, who says providing this opportunity never gets old.
I think the most exciting part is that a lot of people, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So they come out and they're totally jazzed, they're totally excited, and everybody's amped up. So just the excitement, I think, is what's so cool, because this isn't something that somebody gets to do every day. Some people get into the car still a little bit nervous, and they'll get out still shaking because now they're nervous and their adrenaline's going.
All right, here on pit road, getting ready to go 150 miles per hour in one of these NASCARs. Wish me luck. Finally, the moment comes to put on my helmet and get ready to roll. After climbing into the car and receiving some last-minute advice, it's almost go time. Here we go. See what happens. Although you can't hear it, There is a spotter up top talking to me through my helmet on when to get on the track and get up to speed. By the way, these machines do not have automatic transmissions, so you have to manually shift it into gear. It does take a little time to get the feel of it, especially on the high banking in turns 1 and 2. Limiters are placed on the vehicles at about 5,000 RPMs to keep them at safe enough speeds for amateurs. If you exceed the RPM limit, the engine starts to sputter. A few laps in, I get into a pretty good groove, trying to stay between the white marks on the track and keep the car steady. Adrenaline is definitely flowing. Finally, after zipping around for 8 laps, my time is up and I'm told to head back to pit road and park it. An experience I'll never forget.
A lot of comfort has to do with your experience as to how you handle the car and your speed. And you look very well, actually. Oh, you had an amazing smile, so that's good. So it tells me, and it definitely says this to everybody here, even to yourself, that you had an amazing time.
That will do it from out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. My top speed, 147 miles an hour here at the NASCAR Driving Experience.
Meet me in Sin City. We're gonna steal the show.
For what it's worth, Brian's top speed of 147.26 miles per hour was actually 6th fastest of the day. Not too shabby for B-Shawn. All right, that is our time. For Brian, Shawn, and our producer Greg Ankers, I'm Jay Elson. We'll see you back here in 2019 for another season of Midco Motorsports.